I've decided to look into some lick blocks. Let me open it up, mate. Come here. 2 days, and as you can see, they've actually gave it quite a bit of a touch-up. Cattle can only take about 20 to 30%. You may think that's wastage, but it's definitely not wastage. That's the only way you're going to build up your pastures or your deficiencies in your minerals in your soil is by adding minerals to the ground. G'day folks, Jason from the Udderfarm. As you can see, we're not utilising our cafeteria style mineral feeder at the moment. Late last year, say October, right through to the new year in February, we had a lot of rain. And a lot of our minerals in here, because of the high rain and humidity, we're starting to set our minerals off hard. Luckily, a lot of these compartments were empty. I'll lift up and show you. Had the crust on the surface. And we found that the livestock wasn't licking them, particularly the salt. You may be asking, why am I concerned about minerals? Because at the moment, this grass in front of me, right down here, has had frostbite. The last probably week and a half, we've had probably 4 or 5 days of total whiteout frost. You can see areas over the back there that are green, and also up there, see Butchie coming down through that pasture. Up near the yards there, it's really green as well. It's a bit higher, so it's not getting frostbitten. Pasture generally in winter, particularly here, is nutrient deficient. It's all dried out. In the interim, whilst our mineral feeder is out of action, I've looked into getting a few mineral blocks. The first one I want to talk about is the Megamin dry feed block. It's best utilised when your livestock are grazing on dry pasture, which is particularly important come your winter months, like we've got areas of frosted pasture on both properties and during drought conditions when your pasture is dry. I'll bring you in for a closer look and give you a look at the packet. The main difference from the standard mineral block is the addition of 3.5% urea and protected protein meal. The urea, when combined with protected protein, encourages and increases the feed intake by stimulating the appetite. Whilst the urea predominantly encourages an increased feed intake, the protected protein assists in extending the period of rumen stimulation and function, thereby optimising our frosted and dry pasture during our winter when the feed quality and quantity is limited. It also provides a broad spectrum of essential trace and macro minerals, which is crucial for livestock health, performance and fertility. So we'll go ahead and open it up and we'll feed it to the livestock. In a couple of days I'll come back and see how we go. One thing I do notice is on the front here, it's got a warning. Warning, this product contains urea and may be harmful if excessive amounts are consumed too quickly. Do not feed to starving livestock, and it's not suitable for horses. In our case, they're not starving. Even though it's winter and the pasture is dried out, I've still got some green forage around with some brown roughage. So they're definitely not starving. So I'm quite happy to feed this to the livestock now. The one I'll be using in town here on the bulls, I'll bring you in for a closer look. It's actually called Olsen's Herd Health 360. And as the name suggests, optimally, it can be used all year round. It provides a balanced array of trace elements, minerals and vitamins. So this is a general all year round block. What mineral blocks do, they play an important role of assisting in addressing potentially nutrient deficient pastures. And we have a load of them in Australia, particularly in winter time, like I mentioned, when they start to dry out. What they do is they actually help optimize livestock performance. On the box here, it says, it enhances animal health, welfare, fertility, calving rates, milk production, and rumen function. What the spec also says is actually designed to withstand all weather conditions, which is vitally important here because we've had a lot of rain over the last few years. What it says is actually it maintains a constant concentration of minerals and also minimises wastage. So they must have a good weatherproof system in here that it just doesn't wash away when it's pouring down rain. What I'll do now is they're hanging it into it, as you can see. Ribs behind me, our Basset bull. I'll open it up and I'll give it to him. Let me open it up, mate. Come here. Don't go knocking that over. Oi, all fed. Oi, here you go. Here you go. Ah. It's 20 kilos in weight. She's not a small block. I could probably... It's been about 4 days now for these heifers. I'll give you a look at the block. Excuse me, girls. Excuse me. If I can get them away from it. Well, clearly I can see here the corners have all been rounded off. I roll over. They potentially have flipped it over with their nose because these ones have been rolled off as well, but not as much. It's been predominantly sitting up this side because those 3 corners are worn off. And also it's wet on top. That could possibly be dew, or it could be saliva. We'll go through and I'll show you the one in town now. It's definitely had a lot harder life than that one. And that's these 2 boys were just lying down resting. They just noticed me coming to the paddock now. These have done a good graze in here. All this has been tipped off. They've got another 24 hours to go in this paddock. This is twice as big as I normally give them. But the main reason we're in here is to go over and check out this Olsen's 365 mineral block. This has been in here now about 2 days, and as you can see, they've actually gave it quite a bit of a touch up. They've all got rolled over the bottom side. It started off like that with square corners. They've rolled us around the paddock a bit because that corner's been taken off, and so is that corner's, but not as much as those ones there. That's really taken off those square corners there. So they've had a lot more than what I actually anticipated. As you can see, the one in town has definitely been licked more than the one out here. So that's telling me either those bulls are low in minerals, or these girls either aren't low in minerals, or they've got enough green forage around during this early time in winter, or about mid actually, we're coming up to midwinter. They've got enough green forage that they don't need the urea to go through and scavenge all the dried out or pasture that isn't high in energy, that is either dried out for frost or has come to seed. Still going to plan to leave it in here because they still need to top up on essential minerals that they're not getting out of the depleted pastures. So people often say, why do you feed minerals? Because there's a deficiency in the ground. They won't get all the minerals that require. See, over a period of time, and that's why I started the mineral feeder, they will get the minerals they either require out of the block or the cafeteria style mineral feeder, which is they can select what they want out of there because it's got individualized compartments, and eventually that'll go back onto the ground and mineralize the soil. So over time they'll eat less minerals because they're getting it out of the pastures. But in the interim, they're getting the minerals they require either out of the cafeteria style mineral feeder or the mineral blocks. Therefore, it's quite beneficial that the cows top up on their minerals. Also, what people don't realize is that the cattle can only take about 20 to 30% of the minerals in that they consume in a sitting. So basically what that's telling me is every time they consume a bit of minerals, 70 to 80% is going back into the ground. You may think that's wastage, but it's definitely not wastage. That's the only way you're going to build up your pastures or your deficiencies in your minerals in your soil is by adding minerals to the ground. You can either do it 2 ways. You can either add it by hand or broadcast it through, or you can utilize it going for your livestock. So you're actually optimizing the minerals and getting your livestock's health up there, as well as mineralizing the soil and the pasture as well. And you find it's not going to happen overnight. Years and years down the track, you find they'll be consuming less, and because they'll be getting it from the pasture. Anyway, guys, hope you have a good morning, a terrific afternoon, and an awesome evening, wherever you're watching this from, and we'll catch you later. Righto, girls. They're getting stuck into that block again now.